first live.
Cut. Okay, we start over again. We
Yeah.
need to talk loudly.
Okay, so this is our first live Catharsis Hotline. I'm Kuan Yin, your emotional constipation expert. And in the hot seat here, I have our guest, Maxwell Josephson.
Hello.
And well, Josephson, what would you like to... What's feeling hot for you right now? What's feeling like something you're in the process of alchemizing that you would like to give presence with, support?
Well, something I've been thinking about today is part of me that feels like I have been an outsider on the playground, and I think it comes back from a long time ago when I actually was on the playground being an outsider. And earlier today I was in the park and I kind of felt like I was on a playground, like an adult playground. Like there was like all these adults, but they're all like playing, like people were juggling, people were on the slack line, people were playing music and dancing. And I was just like there by myself and like kind of feeling like I'm on the playground, but I don't know where to go, and I feel like an outsider.
And so in that moment when you were feeling the insecure feelings, like you're an outsider, then you're saying it reminded you of something that had happened before when you were a child. Yeah. And what was the memory that came up?
Well, I remembered being little and my best in elementary school, and I used to hang out at school with my best friend Daniel Booz. Shout out if you're watching. And then one day, and then every day after, he started hanging out with my older brother at the playground. I didn't know where to go, and I remember feeling uncertain about where to go, sad, and I also remember thinking that like they were older than me, and like thinking that like they were like too mature for me, like I wasn't mature enough, and like criticizing myself, like I don't know how to talk on the same level as they do. And I remember feeling really sad. And earlier today, I also felt some anger thinking about it, which is not something that I have expressed much in my life. I've been very fearful of expressing anger, that it could get me into a fight or get people to be meaner to me or something like that. And I would get punished, my anger for arguing against my parents' punishment. So I just kind of, my whole life, I was kind of more like freeze or fun or flight.
So what's been inspiring you to tap more into your anger? What's been that?
You have been. Earlier today,
Yeah.
Kuan Yin was asking some questions about this, and I was feeling angry at Kuan Yin. I think I was feeling angry of having to experience this. I think some part of me feels like it's dangerous to go into this, the part of me that feels like an outsider maybe, or that I like never recover. So I was feeling angry at you, and I think a big catalyst is actually Kuan Yin, and
because I was probing.
And your anger and your receptivity to my anger, and then my anger comes out, and I felt a lot of anger earlier, like definitely the most anger I felt in a while.
Yeah. Well, you're angry about the situation that happened before when you were betrayed by your best friend and felt excluded when he became friends with your brother, and then you had all of that pain was kind of trapped in your body all these years because you never really felt safe to express anger. And then today at the park, and then you're kind of remembering that feeling again, feeling kind of awkward at the playground feeling. And when we trace that feeling back, it was, the feeling of being excluded. But then it's almost like my asking you about it was bringing up the old vulnerability and the pain that was all kind of together with that feeling of being rejected and betrayed by your best friend. So I could feel your protector getting mad at me, like asking about it and wanting to connect with the part of you that was hurt. So your protector was trying to cover up the part of you that was hurt because it was too dangerous to be that vulnerable with your hurt. Yeah. And I saw you trying to actually escape and leave the conversation, but I was not letting you.
Yeah, I feel like uncontrollable, because either I'm going to disappoint Kuan Yin if I don't engage with it, or I'm also going to disappoint myself if I don't express my anger to you too. So I felt kind of
you're
trapped.
in a real pickle.
I think that your emotions do trap you, and you have to feel them because there's really no other way.
Yeah.
But I think also.
Well, I was trying to.
I'm
talking right now too. Well, what I was trying to get at with you is that I'm trying to like advocate I'm here as an advocate for the part of you that was in pain, that your protector kind of shut away. But your protector was not really wanting anyone to get close to it. And I also respect that. I don't want to, since you were traumatized by forceful energy, I didn't want to, again, like bring in that forceful energy to make you look at something you don't want to look at. So that's kind of like where we paused. And then we just started, and then we came here, process this further. But I think it's courageous of you to open up as much as you have so far. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, having in your system for kind of your whole, like most of your life since then.
Yeah, I just kind of shake my body out.
Yeah, so there's a lot of anger coming through.
Anger and feeling like I can't, like, I guess maybe feeling like nobody's hearing me.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to hear myself, or that I'm stuck and I'm in this fixed, like, rejected person. I'd rather just hide it because I don't feel like I'm going to grow. And if I'm not feeling my emotions, then I'm not going to grow. I'm just going to relive third grade for the rest of my life. I felt like such an outsider for my whole life. And today I'm going to go and march forward and confront the part of me that feels like an outsider for once and for all.
And allow there to be somebody to help you feel all the emotions that weren't felt then, that didn't feel safe to feel all the way through. Because this is a thing, when there's recurrent patterns happening in our lives and recurrent pain, there's something that needs to be looked at and paid attention to, felt through all the way, to really surrender into feeling. Otherwise, those emotions and the energy of those emotions stay stuck in our bodies and our minds. And so, like, this is the benefit of really going into the pain. It's to free ourselves by really being one with it and giving it the care and attention it didn't receive then, and bringing this new relationship with it where it is completely valid and okay for that pain to be there. It's here for a reason, and it's not trying to ruin your life, but it only feels that way because there was no presence given to it then, the loving presence for it to actually transform and move and become insight and become your, like, the truths of you in that moment.
I don't think I expressed my emotions to anybody at that time. And I think that I was embarrassed about it and didn't want to feel it myself. And I don't know if I felt anger then, because that was a time in my life where I didn't really think that I felt anger or a lot of emotions, because I was just blocked to them. And if I could go back, I would like to express my anger back then too. But I would like to be more open with my anger now, in my emotions, and just like how anger is, or frustration is a powerful emotion. I think can help me to connect to my other emotions as well, and not to repress things. But it feels so scary, and like if I express it, then things are just gonna blow up or something.
Yeah. So the healing for you now is to be able to actually feel your anger and understand your anger, what it's really about. And it's about, like, it's actually fear that was happening underneath it, and the powerlessness of this loss that was out of your control that was happening in that moment. And of course there's anger about that, anger about the loss, but because that wasn't allowed and it wasn't safe, it's like all of that was like your sense of self was just being siphoned away, and it prevented you from actually really moving on, actually really integrating the experience. So anger is there for you to actually help you move the energy to get to the next deeper levels of truths within you and the deeper vulnerabilities underneath it.
Yeah, and I think the vulnerability that has to do with not feeling safe to express myself or be myself, or feeling like I have to go along with what other people think, because if not, then I'll get excluded, and if not, I'll get punished, if not, I'll fail out of school. And I think it's like part of me that kind of like made me cover up my independent, like, child spirit, my soul or something, to fit in. And it didn't work out very well because it was kind of hard to fit in my life. It haven't really felt like I fit in very well in those chapters of my life. Powerlessness of being a child.
In that powerlessness of being a child, that there was no one there when these distressful things were happening to you. There was no one there to reflect back to you, like the emotions, to ask you how you are feeling about it and to help you make sense of it, to know that this experience is real and it's happening and that your feelings are real, to make it real. But instead it just got put away into some void place, into this unwitnessed realm. But it never disappeared. It was always there until we actually consciously choose to go there and open up that door and find these lost parts of ourselves and help them to feel now like so safe to be seen and heard and understood. And in that process, the protector may like fight back and think that it's still dangerous to be vulnerable.
Why does my protector think that it's dangerous to be vulnerable?
Because all of your survival depended on you concealing how you really felt and just going along with the program, that you're okay.
Yeah, because maybe if I feel like if I'm not okay, then people will reject me even more. And if I don't go to the program, I'll get punished. So I have to hide my feelings that are incongruent with the program.
Like what would have happened?
Anger felt incongruent with the program.
Like what would have happened back then if you expressed how hurt you were about what was happening with your best friend and brother?
I mean, I'm just imagining getting embarrassed and them like talking shit about me or something.
Okay, so ostracization, shame.
But that's probably not what it would have happened, but that's just where my mind goes. I don't know what would have happened.
That's what you were fearing.
Yeah.
Would happen.
Or it's embarrassing to talk about my own embarrassment. It makes it more real. It makes it feels fixed when I talk about it. So, because some part of me feels like that's the way things will always be. So better just to hide from it. But I know that there's nothing that will always be the same way. But it's my thinking that it will that causes me to be shy, and I was really shy as a kid too. I did not want to ask people for things, inconvenience people.
And can you see how that pattern, how did that pattern create your life up till now? All the ways that where you decided to be like that.
Yeah.
How much it's shaped who you've become and the decisions you made in your life.
Yeah, I feel like I have not expressed my own opinion very much in my life because I was scared of it being incongruent, scared of other people's anger, scared of what would happen if I expressed my anger. Didn't even know if I had anger.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's something really new with me that you're expressing.
Yeah, I've never expressed anger to somebody so much as you. I feel like I still repress it a lot more than I could. But earlier I was just feeling, and it's scary expressing my anger because I don't know how you're going to take it, and I usually think that it's going to be worse than you do handle it.
Mm-hmm. I actually really, I mean, even if it's uncomfortable, I actually really like it when you're expressing authentically, like anger. Even if it means pushing back against me too, you know?
I felt like shaking you earlier.
Yeah.
For making me go into these emotions, challenging emotions.
Well, you did say you want to go into your inner child every day, and I was just, you know.
But the out of controlness, wanting to feel in control, living in a world that I think prioritizes control a lot. Like I grew up in the suburbs. My parents really prioritize order and control. And
so what's stopping you from really surrendering more deeply into the powerlessness or the anger, the fear underneath it?
Well, I think fear of confrontation, which is one of my New Year's resolutions. I think it'd be more confrontational. Mm-hmm. But it's the fear is that my relationship is going to end. I'll be abandoned. The fear is I have to go into how I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. My fear is that of upsetting somebody and them having power over my life because I felt like I was not in control of my childhood. Like my parents, like my school, they were like my older brother, or just that powerlessness that we all experience as kids, where we are not the ones that are making choices. We're getting a lot of times making choices made for us, and so it's a totally different pattern to express myself when it feels like the environment does not welcome me expressing it, but me to push past that feeling of it not being welcome and to express it anyways, and to see what lands. And it's creative and it shakes things up. And I want that. Yeah.
Shake things up.
Let it rip.
Let it rip. Okay, so you're ready for that?
I'm ready for that. Yeah, and I feel like earlier I felt, a lot of anger coming up. And it was good, even though it was
I know, kind of like egging you on.
We're also kind of in public, so I was like, by noises, people could kind of hear. But I wanted to make some noises too, and I just kept getting frustrated that you were making me go into it. Even though I want that too. I also don't. I want to be in control of it, but also can't be in full control of these emotions.
Yeah,
I have
it's
to just
about
work with
letting
them
go of control.
and listen to them. But thank you for listening to my anger. I really do appreciate it, even though it was scary for me. And you bring up a lot of anger with your own anger too. 'Cause it feels unfair.
Okay, you brought up an interesting thing with the not feeling like your emotions can take control over you and always wanting to stay in control of emotions by suppressing it. By doing so, trying to control it, it is suppressing it, and so then you're keeping it stuck. So I guess some last words about surrendering into the fear, the anger, the powerlessness is that it's about a feeling, like it's about letting the fullness of the sensations ripple through you like water, being the loving vessel for that water to flow, for the emotions to flow, and let it do work through you, because what's the alternative? The worst is that you trap it and you're feeling it anyway, but in this crunched tight way where the water gets all swampy because you're trapping it. And so let it change you, and let it show you its gifts and medicines and truth with your loving, holding, and allowing.